Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am your host, Carmen McLeod, and I am here to talk to you about my passion for spirituality and personal development. My purpose in life at this time is to remind you how powerful you truly are and that you create your own reality. If the mind, the soul, and the universe are topics that interest you, and you want to continue to evolve into your soul's purpose, then you are in the right place. Thank you for joining me as I travel the world and record my journey through self-discovery. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. I am here with you to talk about something very impromptu. I wasn't planning. Usually, this is the first time I've recorded a podcast not on Wednesday. I'm always doing it on Wednesday, and then I release it on Wednesday. And I always just kind of pick something that I want to choose, that I want to talk about, like on the day of. I have a list of a whole bunch of topics that I want to talk about in the future, and I kind of just pick one based on what I'm doing or if something is apparent at the moment. And right now this is the first time I've just grabbed the mic on a day that is not Wednesday to record for my Wednesday podcast, just because I received a message it's this app that I use, and it's called The Pattern. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's kind of a horoscope app, which I've never been into horoscopes or astrology or any of that stuff. But my friend Jay got me into this app, and I really love it because it's actually crazy how accurate it is most of the time. Like, it's really interesting, and it's just kind of fun to look at it, and every day it kind of sends you a little notification, and it gives you some words of encouragement and inspiration, and it also just kind of tells you, almost like it tells you things about yourself, and you can take whatever you want from it at each time. You don't really have to necessarily make such a big deal out of everything, but sometimes it's actually really helped me in different times of when I'm feeling uncertain about something, and because these come up every day, if there's a day where I'm kind of going through something or I'm feeling weird, I can go and look at it, and it's not like it answers the problems for me, but it actually gives me a different perspective to look at things sometimes. And it almost just, I don't know. And I also believe that, that I believe that everything kind of happens for a reason. And I know that, you receive messages like this from the universe all the time. And who says it can't come from an app? I know that it's definitely something that, you could take with a grain of salt. But anyways, it's been quite fun to use the app, and it's just kind of there. And I've gotten some value from it already. Not everything, but many things that they've said, that the app has said, is like crazy accurate and really cool. And anyways, I recommend it. But so one of the patterns that I got, that I received today, I just loved, and I wanted to read it out to you because I think that, one, I identify with it so much, and I think that it could add a lot of value to your life, whoever's listening, because I think that you can get something from any part of this or all of it. I identified with so much of it, basically all of it. A few things not, and I'm gonna I'll just read it out, and then I'll go back and talk a little bit, kind of like analyze some parts that stuck out to me in different ways, and I just thought that it'd be nice for you to be able to hear it. So here we go. So the title is Trusting Yourself. You're meant to trust yourself above anyone else. The more you can follow your intuition without overanalyzing or second-guessing yourself, the better. Freedom needs to be a top priority for you. Your values aren't mainstream. You're intended to be on a more spiritual and liberated path. Depending on your environment and life experience, you may or may not naturally follow this impulse. You might relate to your independent side, or it could feel impossible and scary to be unconventional. But your greatest potential lies in embracing your fearless nature and letting your instincts guide you. Ideally, you feel free enough to search for your truth despite the influence of your friends, family, or culture. There is a side of you that wants to go out and explore, whether you're seeking knowledge through philosophy and ideas or traveling the world and uncovering what's new. You know there's a bigger truth out there, and though you may never find it, you have to try. Otherwise, you'll feel like something is missing. This leads you a restless quality, but your enthusiastic spirit and curiosity can also keep pushing you forward towards that elusive goal. You may already know this about yourself, or you may fear being judged if you don't settle down or conform to tradition. Or it might seem like the moment for big life changes has passed you by and that you're too settled in your ways. Don't listen to these doubts. Trust that you need to follow your gut, take action, and find your authentic path. It's never too late to make important changes in your life. If there's anything that you've always wanted to do but haven't out of fear, it's important to take the chance. Believe in yourself, you'll figure out where to go and how to survive, and you don't need anyone's opinion or company. Find the confidence to go at it alone. Your destiny is not tied to a relationship or a partner. You can take someone with you, but it is not necessary. Throughout your life, you'll be challenged to get comfortable being true to yourself and free enough to explore without distraction. Even if you feel pressure to put down roots and focus on material things, it's important to carve out time to go on your own adventures and seek your own truth and meaning. It would be easy to give into your fears. Instead, quiet those voices and embrace your independent nature. You're meant to do things differently. Challenge yourself and take risks. You're the exception to the rule as you search for your own unique truth. Ignore any judgment. Find the courage to break free from the pack and follow your intuition. Immerse yourself in all things that support your life purpose. You'll feel a deep sense of satisfaction and relief when you've found your way. An inner knowing that the direction in which you're headed has aligned with what is intended. So, that's it. A little bit long, but I hope that something stood out to you from that, because I feel like anybody could take something from this, and I found it to be so inspiring and completely how I'm kind of living my life right now. Just, being a gypsy and breaking away from societal norms and taking risks and exploring, and my obsession with philosophy and adventure and all of this stuff is exactly where my life path is right now. And so hearing this just solidifies this for me so much, that I am doing all the right things for what's best for me right now. And I mean, I already kind of knew this, of course, but it just made me more excited to continue to do it and to go back and keep traveling and keep doing all these things. And so I just wanted to share it with you, but I will talk a little bit. This is going to be probably a shorter episode, but because mainly I just wanted to get that message to you. And but a few notes that I just made about this that are maybe worth noting. When it talks about how in this part that says, there's a bigger truth out there, and though you may never find it, you have to try. Otherwise, you'll feel like something is missing. That's one of the parts that I think that's probably the only part that I don't totally resonate with, just because I don't feel like I need to find the answer to the truth. For one, I also don't think that I think the truth is quite a subjective thing to talk about. Like, I feel like what's true for one person is not true for the next, and who's to say what's true and what's not? And it's kind of like, well, who's to say what's right and wrong? It's kind of hard to fathom that. And I also just don't think that I need to find the answer to everything, though I am very curious, and I agree with this part of it that, I do want to keep searching for more knowledge and to hear more perspectives on life. However, I don't really think that I need to find the answer, because I never will find all the answers. I'll never find the answer to life and to, I'm not really I'm not really looking for that answer, because I feel like the answer is, that there is no answer and you don't really figure it out. And the important part, I think, is just to be present. And if you keep searching for something, then you're not really being present. You're living in a different state of mind, in a different world where all that exists is right now. And also, and that's another reason that I'm kind of excited to die. I know it sounds dark, but not that I want this to happen anytime soon, but I feel like that the answers to all of these big life questions, like what is life, what is the meaning of life, is there a God, what is really all of these things that I love to talk about, I feel like they're all going to be answered for me when I die. And I do believe there's an afterlife, but of course you wouldn't find out till it happens. So that's another reason I feel like finding and searching for this truth. This is just how I'm interpreting this statement. I'm not even sure if that's what it was really meant, like if that's how it was meant by who wrote it, but that's just how I interpreted it. And then the next thing that I made a note about is the section where it says, if there is anything that you've always wanted to do but haven't out of fear, it's important that you take the chance, believe in yourself, you'll figure out where to go and how to survive, and you don't need anyone's opinion or company. Find the confidence to go at it alone. This and a couple other sections of this just kind of brought me back to one of my first podcast episodes. I think it was the second one I ever made, where it was talking about taking risks and seeing everything as a green light. And just to reiterate the importance of this, like the importance of both of these two things, and they go hand in hand. When you take all of these risks, the fear is that you're going to fail usually, or that things are going to go wrong or not in your favor. But I challenge you to look at it from a new perspective, which is to see everything as a green light. So everything happens for a reason, and regardless of the shitty things in life that happen, it's all for a reason. And when you take risks and when you failure is not a bad thing. It's a stepping stone to success. I know I sound like every other personal development guru out there when I say this, but I totally wholeheartedly believe this. And I think that failure is wonderful because you become so much more prepared for success and so much more qualified for it. And you cannot be successful without failure first. So, sidebar, but I used to listen to a podcast called Mornings with Nano, and this guy, he would say that he celebrates his failures with champagne. I'm pretty sure is what he said. Anytime he has like a big failure in his business, and he's a millionaire, multi-millionaire, very successful, and he celebrates his big failures with champagne because that's just another stepping stone to the next level of success, which I bring this example up all the time because this is it's so powerful. And it's true, and it makes me think that, that's how I'm going to do it. It may be harder in the moment, but I think that I could totally do it. So anyways, to get back to what I'm talking about is, I feel like in this section of it, it's just a reminder, a good reminder to take everything as a green light. So when you take the risk, that's just another green light. And even if things go wrong or seem to go wrong, or where you might regret making that decision, if you can see everything as life happens for you, not to you, everything is happening in your favor. And oftentimes you look back at your life and you say, oh well, thank God for that failure, it wouldn't have brought me, or otherwise I wouldn't have got here. So when you can look at your life that way, you can almost do it ahead of time. So look at your life in the future as, okay, well, I know that this is going to work out in the greater good. So I know I've talked about this all before, but chances are not everyone has heard that episode. And I know that this is one of the most important messages I feel like, that I've shared. And it's something that I'm really thankful to be living right now. And so I just wanted to, give that reminder. So the next thing I just wanted to mention is on the section that says, your destiny is not tied to a relationship or a partner. You can take someone with you, but it is not necessary. Throughout your life, you'll be challenged to get comfortable being true to yourself and free enough to explore without distraction. So, I resonated with this too, of course, because I left my partner to go travel without him for a few months, and it was honestly it was an amazing decision. It changed my life completely. As much as I love him and traveling with him, my life completely changed from solo traveling, and I would not trade solo traveling for the world. I literally plan to do this for so many years to come and I never saw myself doing this, but wow, and I've talked about this, of course, plenty of times, but when you're traveling alone or solo, you're never really alone. Oftentimes I was rarely alone, but if I ever wanted to be alone, I could easily go be alone. And that's the beauty of traveling solo, is you meet so many people, so many more people than when you're in a relationship, especially because when you're in a relationship, that's all you need is the other person. But when you're solo, you need to make friends, otherwise you're going to get really bored and lonely. So you meet so many more people and you get so many new perspectives on life, but also you get to also have the beauty of really being alone for also some extended periods of time, on bus rides, on stuff like that, where 8 or 12 hours of busing at a time, where you just get into that meditative state. Or if you just want to, spend the day by yourself, you can do that, no problem. So I highly, highly recommend it. And that's what this page kind of reminded me of, is definitely, it's less distraction from yourself when you're traveling by yourself, just to get really in touch with who you are. And the last thing that I will mention is the last paragraph there, it says, immerse yourself in all things that support your life purpose. You'll feel a deep sense of satisfaction and relief when you've found your way, an inner knowing that the direction in which you are headed has aligned with what is intended. Oof. I love that line or that paragraph so much. Because I love to talk about Dharma. Your soul's purpose is what Dharma is. And I'm going to do plenty of episodes on this, but I have one planned out in the near future. It is I'm going to spoil it, I guess. One of the spiritual laws of success is around Dharma. It's actually the last one. So I will have an episode on this once I get to that point of, I've only done 2 of the laws of success so far. So if you give me a few weeks and I'll be able to talk more about Dharma. But I feel like I'm, kind of living, right now I feel like I'm living my soul's purpose, though I have way bigger goals of what I want to be doing and the impact I want to make on the world. Right now it's quite micro, it's quite a small scale of what I see for myself. However, I'm already living my purpose. I'm doing exactly what I feel like I was here to do, what I'm here to do and what I'm meant to do. And though the scale will grow, I feel like I'm really already just making it happen and just living my Dharma. And that's what I'm doing. I'm immersing myself in all the things that support my life purpose. And I know that not, right now I feel like my life purpose is to spread the word of, all of this juicy stuff that I talk about all the time, spread the word of you create your reality and you're so powerful, and, keep going, do all the good stuff, all the stuff that I talk about in the podcast, and just kind of, just empowering other people in so many different ways. And I am already doing that. It's wonderful. And I'm just gonna, I just want to continue to do that. But, I know that it's kind of overwhelming to talk about life purpose or soul's purpose. A lot of people don't know what theirs is. And I'm excited to talk more about this, where I actually have some steps on how to find that and how to find that within yourself. of what your soul's purpose is. There's actually a whole book on it. So if you don't want to wait for my podcast episode, I'm going to highly, highly recommend this book. It's called Discover Your Dharma by Sahara Rose. I can put it in the show notes. I love her. I've been listening to her podcast, and she's someone who's inspired me to start this podcast. And it's another kind of spiritual podcast, but it's wonderful. And she wrote this amazing book about how to find your life's purpose and your soul's purpose. And she dedicates her whole life to helping people find this, which is something that I'm actually considering getting into. But maybe in the future, becoming a Dharma coach would be something. It's something that she teaches. But anyways, I recommend that book if you're kind of looking for if you're kind of not sure about what the purpose of your life is, and if you think that there should be more to life than this. That's a really great book to listen to. Definitely worth it. But otherwise, I'm going to be recapping a lot of what she says, just like the main points of what I got from that book in that episode that I'm talking about, that is coming out in a few weeks, but it's probably like at least 5 weeks away. So anyways, I just gave you that book if you want to read up on it beforehand. And I'm also going to talk about what Deepak Chopra has taught me around the subject. So anyways, that's about... Oh, and then another thing about Dharma, the only last thing is that it kind of is ever changing. So what my Dharma is right now is, what I talked about, and it's going to continue to change. And I think that what my Dharma is in 5 years could be completely different, and in 10 years completely different as well. And it's exciting. So it's not like you pick one thing that's, okay, this is my life's purpose and I'm going to go and just tunnel vision and never let it grow. You don't have to, it's not like that. It's going to continue to grow as you do. And so as you are a human being, you're ever changing. So is your life's purpose. And sometimes you complete it and then it's time for the next thing. So, and sometimes you work your whole life towards one thing. It's kind of fun to not know. But yeah, so that's just my short little spiel on all of this really, I don't know, inspirational stuff that I just read today. And thank you for listening, and I would love to hear what you got from this. So if you got anything from the passage that I read, I don't know if I call it a passage, but the paragraphs that I read to you, if you got anything from it, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts and how it resonated with you and what parts you liked or didn't like or whatever, because this is something that I love to talk about. So please send me a voice memo. I love to hear voice memos because then I get to hear your beautiful voices. But yeah, or anything like that. Would love to hear what you got from this. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.